So I recently posted a video of Denver's first week home with me with the training that he had done, and that video got reposted with some pretty negative feedback. More specifically, the person said, no, I am absolutely appalled that this account is putting this out. This is too much for a puppy in 1 week. No. Now, I don't know this person. They didn't contact me directly. They just reposted my video with their personal thoughts. And normally I wouldn't address something like this because everyone on the internet has an opinion, and that's kind of part of doing videos on the internet. But I thought this was a good opportunity to talk about some important concepts related to puppyhood, specifically about burnout in service dogs, as well as how to structure a training session. And then finally, I wanted to talk to you all as subscribers to my channel about the fact that you might be having feelings about the things that I am posting and what I'm presenting on this channel, and I want to address that as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Laura from Dog EU, and I am a certified guide dog mobility instructor, service dog trainer, and trick trainer who has been training and placing service dogs throughout the US and Canada for the last 15 years. So let's talk first about overtraining and what the potential harm could be from that. The first is physical. So whether the dog gets physically injured from repetitive, like doing the same thing over and over again, or from doing unsuitable behaviors for the age of the dog. Those are both things that could happen if you overtrain. And then the third thing that could happen is burnout. So physically, we want to choose behaviors that are appropriate for your puppy. So for instance, you're not going to see me teaching my puppy to go over a jump because that could injure a young growing puppy. You're also not going to see me throwing actual discs in the air for quite a while because if I make a poor throw and it's not low to the ground so that the dog can catch and run through it while running without actually having to get in the air, they could leap and jump and try to get that disc, or if it's a poorly thrown disc, they could twist themselves and it could go badly. So you'll see me throwing a bunch of rollers, or like a few rollers to a young puppy instead of throwing discs in the air. You also want to be conscious of repetitive behavior. So even if that behavior is safe for a puppy and doesn't involve jumping or, anything like that, it could be unsafe if it's done too often. Fortunately, this can be solved with the same thing that keeps my dog really excited about training with me, and that's keeping sessions short with really low repetitions, because when we end a training session where they still want to train more, they come back for the next session really excited to train with you. Short sessions is also part of how we can prevent burnout, so let's talk specifically about burnout next. So assuming that you have an appropriate candidate for service dog work, burnout in young service dogs can come through a couple of different ways, and sometimes a combination of a few different things happening at once. First is doing too much too often. Long sessions can be really frustrating for a young dog, or they can find training tedious, especially if you focus on one specific thing over and over again. Drilling is never a good idea for any dog. Most dogs just really don't like a ton of repetition. So when we're able to mix it up, throw in different activities for them to do, they're going to be a lot more receptive to continuing enjoying training sessions. Next is overfacing the dog, which means we're asking too much of them for their current skill level or ability. And included in this is also asking a dog who's not mentally, physically, or emotionally ready to handle certain tasks to task. We want to be really conscious of tasks that are highly emotionally charged for a handler or potentially stressful for a handler, and we want to make sure our dogs are actually mature before we consider asking them to task in those situations. This is a really quick way to burn out a service dog early in their career. And the last one I'm going to cover today is overall well-being and balance, meaning the dog isn't getting enough time to do dog stuff and de-stress from public environments that even for the right dog can be stressful, especially for a young or green dog. So for Denver, I'm ensuring that I keep my training sessions short and fun, both in home and out in public, and that I'm not mentally or physically overfacing him. I preserve his love of training and his positive feelings around training at all costs. And then I aim to balance that training with free play with other dogs, puppy hikes, and of course, rest. And when I say my training sessions are short, I mean it. My typical training session is only 1 to 3 minutes long. Very frequently, I practice a new skill for 1 minute at a time, and a typical session is 1 to 3 minutes, followed by a break for free play, tug, or chewing if we're going to work on another skill after that session. And I'm a huge fan of 1-rep training. For instance, practicing sitting at a door before being released into the yard, or going to a mat and laying down while I boil water. Incorporating training as part of his general life in my house is the most efficient way to train. And the skills that you're seeing in that video that got the negative feedback, and this is really important, they're base foundation skills that are just being applied in new and different ways. So within that video, there's basically 2 skills: targeting of either the nose to hand or all 4 feet on a target, and luring, which is following a cookie magnet. So with those 2 skills under his belt, I can train most things pretty efficiently. So if your dog can follow a cookie in your hand, you can teach spin, down, sit, come to heel, all using the exact same foundational skill. And if your dog can target 4 feet on a platform, they can also target a crate and get in a box like I did for his novice trick dog title, which he already meets the criteria for. In fact, the day that I filmed for that evaluation, I actually taught him 2 of the tricks that are on the evaluation within 2 minutes each, because he already knew how to put 4 feet on a target. And if he already knew how to put 4 feet on a target, he could put 4 feet in a box, and he could also put 4 feet in a crate. All that to say that the skills that you're seeing him learning, and they are just skills because they aren't on cue, they're not finished behaviors, anything like that, they've all been taught in about 2 to 4 sessions that last anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 minutes max long. And I don't find that to be excessive or overtraining for any dog. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but how many times a day are you training him? And I do train him several times a day. So my typical schedule looks like in the morning, right when we wake up, we do a little bit of training. Then we go out on his little puppy hike. And during that puppy hike, we might do 30 seconds to a minute of doing his behaviors like sits and downs and coming to heel, that kind of thing, while we're on that walk to encourage him to understand that these behaviors can happen anywhere. And then we do another little bit of training with his lunch and another little bit of training with dinner. So his total training during the day is probably about 30 minutes or so, broken up into 3 structured sessions with his meals, and then some like little random bits of training put into our normal day together. So yeah, he knows a lot of things, but it's not because I'm spending hours a day training. It's because I am being consistent about training 3 times a day with his meals, and because I brought a super active breed into my life who loves working. And I knew that going into it. He was going to need more than a typical pet dog was going to need. And he loves working, and he's super smart, and he picks up things really, really quickly. And that brings me to the last thing that I wanted to talk about today, and it's this. You doing the amount of training that I am doing with John Denver is not the goal. I know it's tempting to compare your 11-week-old puppy to my 11-week-old puppy, but I absolutely urge you not to. I am a professional trainer, and my special interest is dog training. This is all that I do. I am passionate about it. It is my hobby. It's what I do in my free time. And more importantly, it is my job. It is my job right now in my life to train and video the training of the process of training this service dog so that you're able to see that whole process start to finish. It's literally everything that I do all the time. It's what I think about. I train, I video it, I process those videos, and I post them on YouTube. That's my job. And I also bet that you spend a lot of time doing your job every day as well. And service dog training, while it is time intensive, it is not your job. And so you want to kind of take everything that I'm doing with a grain of salt, because this is my full-time thing. And not only that, you should also know that I am also a human that needs breaks just like everyone else. Because right now, right as I'm filming this video, John Denver is not here with me. He's actually out with my friend and trainer Casey, who you've seen on this channel, who I've hired to take him for 6 weeks every Monday for a few hours to provide training and socialization for him. So I did that for a couple of reasons, and the first is to benefit Denver, and that is because I think it's really important for a dog to be able to work for multiple people, especially when you're talking about a service dog who, in the course of things or in the course of your disability or health, may need to be handled by someone else when you're not able to do that. And John Denver's pretty attached to me, so I thought it was really important for him young to go out and have a diverse experience with a different trainer. But it's also that Denver is with Casey because raising a puppy is freaking hard and it is tiring, and sometimes you just need a break. And for me, with filming like this, I need to be filming for several hours at a time, which is kind of at odds with the fact that Denver needs me every few hours, and it kind of breaks me out of the zone, and I try to stay in the zone when I'm having filming days. So having day training with Casey once a week is both good for Denver and for me. And I want to talk about that piece too, because there's no shame in needing help. I'm a professional trainer and I need help sometimes. There's no special prize for doing it all on your own. So ultimately, the goal here is to shape Denver into the best dog that he can possibly be, and that's what I'm trying to do. And not everyone is going to agree with how I do that, and that's okay. But my hope is that by following along on our journey, you're going to get a glimpse of the entire training process from puppyhood into adulthood. And you're going to get a better idea of what it's really like to train a service dog from the beginning in a way that I don't think has been documented before by a professional service dog trainer. And then you'll be able to take little bits of each of the videos and see what works for you and what works for your dog, and take those moments and kind of run with them and incorporate them into your training. Or at least that's my hope anyway. So thank you for being here on this journey with me, and if you like this video, make sure you boop that like button and let me know down in the comments below. You all have an awesome day and happy training.